Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lukesh. So in this particular video series, we'll be discussing about the differences or the limitations that we have in the Azure world as far as writing T-SQL is concerned. So when you try to compare the on-premise T-SQL version with the Azure T-SQL version, there are some limitations in writing the code, and how we can overcome those limitations would be great. I personally got to know because I have worked on Azure Synapse, which is Azure SQL data warehouse, and I was amazed to know that some of the things that you can do with traditional on-premise SQL Server you cannot do with the cloud version of the SQL Server. So we'll be going through that. And to get the ball rolling, let's start with one of the limitations first. And basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to insert a row into a table, but what we need is we need the columns to be the column values to be dynamic in nature. For example, it could be one of the values in a particular column could be a value coming from a subquery, or it could be a scalar function that gets generated or calculated or computed in runtime. So we'll be discussing that, and let's see. So in normal scenarios in on-premise SQL Server, a version of the SQL Server, you will be able to do this, but in Azure you cannot do that, and let's see why we can't do that and what error message we get. So we have a simple table called SS. You can name any table. So we have three columns here: ID, name, and date. So ID is int type, name is varchar, and date is date time. And basically, what we want to do is we just want to insert these three values. This first value that goes into the ID column is actually a subquery. I've tried to make it simpler. Instead of the subquery, we are just selecting one and trying to insert that. And the second option is pretty much stable. It's a string value that we try to insert. And the third is an interesting one, which is a scalar function which calculates current date time, and we try to insert that. So in normal world, in normal on-premise version of SQL Server, it is pretty straightforward. You would expect it to work. But when we try to use that in Azure SQL Data Warehouse, it doesn't work. I'm not sure whether this will work on Azure database, but we are discussing here is we are discussing about the differences between Azure SQL Data Warehouse and the on-premise version of SQL Server. So let's try to do this. Let's try to create this table and see if the table is already there or not. So the table is already there. Let's drop it. So we get to know that whatever we are doing, we are making sense of it, and there are no current data sitting in the table. So we have deleted the table. Now let's create the table again. So the structure of the table has been created. Now we will try to insert with this, and let's see what happens now. So you see, you will get this kind of error message which says that insert value statement can contain only constant literal values or variable references. So how do we overcome this? We can overcome this with the help of variables, which means that you declare a variable, set the value of the variable, and then use that variable into the insert statement when you are inserting the record. So we have got two variables here. Variable 1 is an int type which has a value 1. Variable 2 is of date time, which has a value which calculates the date time on current basis. And so we'll try to run this particular bunch of statements, and let's see what happens. So here we go, and we will try to execute this. So you can see that one row has been affected, which means that the values have been inserted. So this is how it looks like. So even though it's a very simple kind of practical that we did, but it is one of the limitations I encountered it during my project. So I think I'll share it with you guys. So let me know how you feel about it. If you have worked with the SQL database or the Azure SQL database or Azure SQL data warehouse, do let me know whether you came across this limitation in the past or not. So it will be good to know. And we'll continue this series in the coming weeks, in the coming days. Until then, take care of yourself, guys. We'll meet in the next video and stay safe. Bye, guys.